Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk to you about a work that I just love and which really has no bad recordings. So I'm not going to talk about specific performances. The whole point of it is that it will have no bad recordings and practically no bad performances. I'm referring to Dvořák's Bagatelles for string trio and harmonium. The actual scoring is 2 violins, cello, and of course a harmonium, which, as you may know, is a parlor organ. It has pedals called treadles that you do this with, and that pumps up air, which goes through the reeds and allows your harmonium to harmone. And it's an absolutely delightful little instrument that was incredibly popular in the 19th century. Now, the reason I love this piece so much is because it represents an almost unparalleled combination of simplicity, ease of performance, and sophistication of form and shape. It's such a sign of Dvořák's mastery that he could create music that was literally for performance at home, for amateur players, but which takes away nothing from its remarkable structural and formal perfection. Anyway, here is just the opening. I just want you to hear it because it's so beautiful and so, just listen. Now, after about 2 seconds of that, you know it's Dvořák, don't you? Just from the beauty of the melody. But the wonderful thing about this work is that it has 5 movements. That's the first. This music comes back in the third movement, where it's subject to some variations, and it returns in another variation as an episode in the concluding movement, which is a rondo, basically. And in between are 2 slower and more sort of meditative pieces. The thing that makes it so astonishingly wonderful, in my view, is simply that even though there's nothing complicated about it, you have a larger formal shape. So when you listen to all 5 movements, you come away from it with this tremendous feeling of satisfaction. You know, you've accomplished something in a sense that's larger than just the individual beauty of the tunes. I mean, the tunes are extraordinarily beautiful, or the lovely harmonies, but there's an actual work, a thing, a piece. I can't even begin to describe the kind of satisfaction it gives the listeners. And since I'm not a string player, I'm told by people who've done it, the string players too. You know, it's not as if he's been writing down for anybody. You don't feel as though the simplicity of the work is being bought at the expense of having accomplished something, of having made a significant musical and artistic statement. And that, to me, is one of the hallmarks of greatness in music, greatness in a composer, which is the ability to write these simple, beautiful works for players who are not the most sophisticated or the most virtuosic, but to make them feel like they are, you know? It's a gift. It's really a gift. And Dvořák had it. I mean, I once had a conversation with the great Finnish composer Eino Juhani Rautavaara and about that. And he once said to me, and this is something that's so applicable to this situation, he said, you know, the secret to great composition is not writing music that's impossible to play or that sounds torturous and difficult. He said, anybody can do that. He said, I regard it as simply an indication of incompetence. The key is to write something that's actually very easy to play or very playable, very practical and doable, but have it sound like you're doing something that's impossible or difficult or greater than it is. The greatness in Dvořák is in every note that he wrote, whether for large ensembles and the most sophisticated orchestral combinations, or for just simple chamber forces that a bunch of music lovers could get together and play at home without too much difficulty. I just can't think of anything more rewarding or more a symbol of that than these pieces. Now, the Bagatelles have been recorded lots and lots of times, but I was looking, recently on Amazon to see what was available, and it seemed like everything is out of print. I don't believe that personally. I think that, you have to sort of hunt around for them because nothing comes up really if you look Dvořák Bagatelles, but they're used as a coupling to a lot of other chamber music recordings. For example, the complete chamber music series on Supraphon, they're in there. You find them attached to versions of the string quartets. I believe the Lindsays did them on ASV back in the day. You can find them around. And as I said, there are no bad performances. The music is completely foolproof. All you need is a harmonium that doesn't sound too cranky and string players who can play reasonably in tune, and you're in business. And the music just goes. It just plays itself. So if you have an opportunity to hunt down the Dvořák Bagatelles for string trio and harmonium, if you haven't heard them already, you owe it to yourself an opportunity to hear this exquisite little gem of true, honest-to-God, romantic, domestic music making. It's just another reason to keep on listening. Thank you.